Yes. Looking through this report, it brought a lot of concerns to me, especially in the with the Hispanic population, and students with disabilities. As I read through it, I had a hard time understanding where we're pulling from. Like when it comes to English language learners, I think it is important to recognize that when we see slower progress among Hispanic students, it may reflect several overlapping factors. Many Hispanic students are also English learners or former English learners, and the language demands of the MCAS can make it more difficult for students who are still developing academic vocabulary and reading comprehension. There are also broader structural factors that can impact outcomes, including first-generation family dynamics, economic barriers, and chronic absenteeism. In some cases, early literacy gaps that begin in elementary school can also grow over time if they're not addressed early. So the data may not just reflect an achievement gap, but a combination of language development, access, and opportunity factors that the district needs to address strategically. And I say this because between the years of 2009 and 2012, when I was a high school student, I remember doing really great in my English classes, but it wasn't until my junior year when I was placed in a high honors classroom. I remember writing a back to school paragraphs. I don't know. It was a question about like, how did your summer go? This was when texting had boomed, and I spent all summer talking in slang with all my friends. I came back and I kind of kept that from over the summer. And when I wrote this, I remember receiving my paper back and like almost everything was red. It was so embarrassing to me. But I don't remember any conversations had around, hey, let's take a look at what you wrote and the corrections that I made. I never was offered any other help around like potentially like getting a tutor, or if my writing continued to reflect grammatical errors, or the structure of my writing wasn't meeting the expectation of an honor classroom. So my parents never got a notification that I was struggling with my English when I was writing at the time. So it really made me feel like I failed. And I remember she kept me after class one day. This was less than a month of when I returned back to school. Less than a month, not even 4 weeks passed by. And she already made the decision, the teacher at the time, had made the decision that I was a better fit in a regular, I forgot the name of it, a regular college classroom, I guess I think you would call it. And I remember I was like, all right, this is my teacher, I'm gonna trust her. If she thinks that this is too much for me and I'm not able to sit here and complete this class this year, then I should go. And I did. And when I went there, I'm telling you, every single time I took a test, every single time I completed an assignment, I was getting 100, 100, 100. And my teacher looked at me and kept me after class, and she was like, Vanessa, what are you doing in here? Like, you're getting hundreds, like, I don't understand. And I said, well, I was recommended to come back like in this classroom. And I remember her face turned red and she just left the classroom. Then she came back and she was like, okay, and she started like giving me more like homework to challenge me in different ways. So when I think of my experience as a child of immigrant parents whose whole family like traveled here, it really makes me question like how much power teachers hold, like when it comes to guiding their students. And I know every teacher is different, and every teacher shapes and molds their classroom based on their values, right? But I'm just wondering, like, what didn't she see in me that day? So when I look at these MCAS report back, I think of other people that also went in my experience. And if we have such a large gap and we're continuing to see our Hispanic student numbers rise, what are we actually doing? What is our plan to better this? It's obvious it's obvious it's a problem, especially if the numbers are proving it. So I do have a question.